All right, ladies and gentlemen, just to give you guys a heads up, we just went live
Oh
on
shit, I'm not in the
Restream.
space.
On Restream. I have to
Oh, on
start setting
Reach.
up the Restream live. So if you want to mute yourself, mute yourself. Just know that we are live. Just giving you the heads up.
Oh my gosh. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. This was stressful. I'll do it in my own free time. Free time. I'll do it in my
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Van, also known as Vanessa, Mom's Talk Crypto. I just want to give a quick intro. I am Mom's Talk Crypto because I have two little ones, two sons, so you might hear them in the background throughout this space. And just please be patient with me. I am a digital AI artist, AI engineer student, photographer, Web3 creator, and event planner. Also, the founder of the Woman in Tech Museum that you can find in Spatial to my creative owls. Uh, I am honored to be here because not only that I am representing the Woman in Tech, but Hi Cece and Creatives and Cynthia are also part of the Woman in Tech. I also see Reina. So I want to say thank you to the community for coming up today and being with us. And I just want to welcome Creatives Art. We're going to be highlighting her as well. She's part of the Woman in Tech. We we have hosted in the past uh, two showcases on March 8th to celebrate International Women's Day. And our last event, Creative was one of our speakers and also feature artist, where she talked about VR. She's an amazing VR and AR performance artist. So let's give her a warm welcome. And yeah, welcome, Creatives.
Good morning. Hi. Thank you so much, Vans. Yeah, thank you for the invitation to come and share. I really appreciate it, and just also for including me in the Women in Tech Museum. I absolutely love it, and really appreciate the invites. So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I've tuned into this space many times. I'm sure you guys know. I love listening in, and yeah, just Spatial's been great. Central End's been great, and it's nice to see you guys here too. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Great to have you, Creatress. I always love it when you come by. Love learning from you, seeing your visual vibes. If y'all don't know, Creatress was one of the first people I've ever met in any metaverse, and watched her perform. Blew my mind. I hope we get a little sneak peek and we adventure together. Speaking of adventuring, streaming, and beyond, we wanted to thank Little Brother Biometa and Vita TV for streaming us live on multiple platforms today. Cece, if you could put up that stream for those of you who cannot join us in World and Spatial, Cece will put up our spatial location right now, and then the different places Biometa is streaming us today. I want to thank a few more friends for coming through. King Loss, for you musicians out there working with some talents, to be on the lookout for King Loss. Cynthia, my brother from another, CJ Tracks, one of my favorite DJs in the metaverse out here live. Altered's in the house. Kid Love, if y'all don't know, now you know. You got to catch the vibes with him. One of my Beast family is in the room. Josh Garrett, Maker from No Other, in the house. We are so excited to have you guys here today. But remember, we're going to be jumping through a couple metaverse locations, including the Women at Tech Museum today. We'll be streaming on other platforms. And again, come catch a vibe, my friends.
Awesome. Awesome. I see Block in the audience. Block, I sent you a speaker invite. Get your sweet buns up here, my friend. Okay, so I posted our starter world, so our studio world in Spatial. If you want to hop in, you're welcome to. I also shared my kick. If you cannot hop around the worlds with us today, that's totally fine. Everything is streamed to so many socials, including my kick, so you can tune in there if you'd like as well. So happy to have you all here today. Let's see if we can get Block up on stage so he can introduce himself a little bit too. Oh, Biometa, come on up. All righty. So today's topic, we are diving into creating and building in VR. So one of my first experiences watching somebody build in VR was, it was either Blockstone or it was My Creative Owls, and they were doing a quick little video. I think it was you, Block, because you did like a how-to video or something like that. And it blew my mind with the opportunity that in your VR headset, there's already a program. It's called like VR Sketch. And it drops you into this sort of like canvas room. And you just have this palette in your hand and you just go to town. And then when I saw a video of Creatress on stage, like big, beautiful smile, like you could see what she was creating on this giant screen behind her. My little brain just exploded. And I was like, I need to know more. And so I started searching out people who were building in VR. And one of those people who were in my direct circle was Blockstone. So I do want to welcome Blockstone to the stage. How are you doing, my friend? Do you want to yourself?
Yo, what is good? Thanks for having me. I am Blackstone. I do 3D art and spatial design, so everything from virtual architecture to experiential design and spatial 3D assets.
Awesome. Thank you. You caught me tweeting. All right. So let's dive in. Let's do some questions. Anything that we need right now, Meg? Are we good to dive into the AMA?
I think right before we might want to give a little exciting news, see?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to do it now or do you want to wait?
Kind of set the table for the rest of this experience, family. We are very happy to share. We've come together with our girl Vans and some beautiful and talented ladies out there. And we're going to be hosting an event at the end of the month in the Women in Tech Museum, which we'll go to today. We stopped by last week. For the rest of the month, we'll be celebrating a few different featured artists and telling about. And then at the end of the month, we'll have at least one female DJ, maybe some more. And we're going to do a party to celebrate all those ladies out there and really show you all what the heck we can do when we all come together, starting with Metaverse Mondays, all the way to a rager to close.
You know what? I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on straight. Thank you so much. That is right. Let's go ahead and dive into the Women in Tech Museum. I shared the link in the nest above. I shared it in World. I'm going to head over there now because it is ready for October. So Vans has been curating the space for the month of October. And I think there are some of your pieces in here, Creatress, which I'm really excited to take a look at. And I've got some questions. We've got some questions for you. Vans, do you want to take the first question for Creatress and Block?
Of course, of course. So it's actually an honor to have creators here. I have the pleasure. I'm sorry, background notes. The pleasure to work with her and learn about her journey. Sorry, they're fighting about a balloon, but they're okay. So I would love her creators to share more about her experience, to tell us about your journey into the world of VR and how you started creating 3D sculpture and your headset.
Yeah, thank you, Vance. So I guess before I got into VR, I was already creating art. I went to art school right out of high school, and I studied as many different art forms as I could get my hands on. But even before then, I was already working with ceramics, and I had my first ceramics class. Used a potter's wheel when I was in 6th grade. So kind of exploring sculptures since then, and realizing that like there's not a lot of permanence to them. Like I think I probably held on to one of those early like bowls that I created for a good like at least 10 years, but things break. So in virtual reality, you don't have to store your sculptures. I mean, you do have to store them files, right? But there's no physical storage, right? Which makes it a lot easier for your things to be created and have tons of different things. So when I saw a commercial, of someone sculpting in VR, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to try that. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking so much about the file size or like, the storage element. I just thought it was really cool, like that you could express that quickly. Because I've always, I don't know, I've always like my brain just moves really quickly. And even when you're painting, like switching colors, you got to have multiple paint brushes to switch colors very quickly. Um, anyway, so that's kind of how I got into it. Was I saw a commercial and I immediately knew that I wanted to try it because I've always been after new art forms and new techniques, like just my whole life. So yeah.
Hey, I got some question for you, creatress. I think now we've been hanging out together one way or another, jumping through different metaverses for almost 2 years. RIP Alt Space, which is where I love to set up my platform. When I did, it's okay. It got us to where we are going, but I do miss that VR experience, like really getting into my spaces and designing. But you don't just design in AR, and you don't or in VR, excuse me. You also go and do live performances. I know you've been. Can you tell us about some of the places you've come through and done performances? I know you came to East Denver, and I missed you by a day.
Oh yeah, yeah. So okay, yeah, Eats Denver, in 2022 I was there. Not the official event, but I was like right across the street at a satellite event by the Near Protocol. If you guys remember Near, they're still around. So yeah, there I've done NFT NYC. In 2022, I did 7 performances that week. Well, actually, it was 6 performances, and then I did one 10-minute keynote about VR performance, which felt kind of like a performance. um, but yeah, I've done events during Art Basel. I think I've done at least 6 performances there. Um, and yeah, I've done LA, Minneapolis for VCon. Yeah, I've had, I've been really lucky, and I've had clients like My BFF, which is a community that's still around, like highly empowers women. And they just actually literally were, I guess, acquired by Boss Beauties, which is another like female empowerment brand. So really, really like grateful, but also proud to like have been one of the artists that they like felt like was worth investing in. And so yeah, I did a performance with them. I was also recommended to do an event with Paris Hilton, so her and her team at 1111 Media hired me to do a performance for her, for an event actually called the Innovation Summit, which is just like so on point. Like innovation is what we are about. It's like what I love. And at that summit, there were talks and panels, and it was like almost all women. There was a single man that was part of the programming, which I thought was just like so awesome, honestly. And so yeah, I've had a really, really great time exploring the performance aspect of it, because every single time is different, and it creates a different sculpture, which you all can see kind of a progression. But yeah, thank you, Mike.
You got it. And real quick, just a quick refresher. We are now live in the Women in Tech. You can see that either by jumping into Spatial. So if none of you have been to Spatial before or haven't given something a go, one thing I can say about Spatial as opposed to other metaverse worlds is you don't need to jump in and create an account. You could try it for the first time. Yes, clicking on links can be a little sketchy or a little worrisome, but I assure you, by looking on the live screen right now, you could see us hanging out, and we're going to look at Creatress's piece in the Women in Tech Museum. We are also still streaming live all over for you, for those of you who want to see it, but I highly encourage you, check out what's going on right now. And shout out real quick, Levitated, great to see you, family. One heck of a builder, designer, and collector. So hello, friend. Let's keep this party rocking. Creatress, what
Ooh,
do we have in the live museum? Can we talk about that a sec?
Yes, there's actually two pieces that Creatress that we installed today, right, Vans?
Well, we have two sculptures, the one that we're standing next to. So we're by the entrance. Those are joining us. Let me see if I can bring everybody here. And then we also have one, if you go to the auditorium, that beautiful butterfly, like I think it just goes with the colors and everything. And then Dia de los Muertos, art here as well, and the main lobby that you can see. And actually, we have four pieces in total because Created, she's was already part of the museum, which is by the October Takeover by Secret Project. So yes, come in and join us. This looks beautiful. I love this culture, the faces, how it blends. Viewing it from afar and from the different angles as well. Like as I was rotating it, I was like, this is like the right way, but it was my interpretation. So feel free to go around because it does have like different colors to it per sections too.
Yeah, and Creatress, butterflies have been a big part of what you did. I remember going back about maybe a year ago, as I've been a fan and a supporter a while. I remember when you first started making those butterfly AR filters, and I know that's continued through your work. So, just if you could talk a little bit about this piece and maybe how the work has evolved.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, so the butterfly motif and the symbol is something that is I guess like an ancestral and like family symbol. So my great grandfather would collect butterflies. He would collect all sorts of insects and things like that. He even went as far as doing like taxidermy. But his main focus was on butterflies and then creating these beautiful butterfly frames, to preserve them and categorize them. So much so that he left like a huge collection to a museum when he passed. And so the thing is, my grandmother, his daughter, she went on all these expeditions with him and collected the bugs, the insects, the butterflies, all the things. And he taught her how to preserve them and to put them in frames. And so she's always loved butterflies since I was a little girl. She's always worn them. She's always had them at her home. So that symbol really just represents her and just like the passing down of art and like love of beauty in things, and preserving beauty, right? Things that would usually, just kind of disintegrate into the earth. So bringing the butterflies to, VR is my way of just like, just like the caterpillar, completely turns to goo and then becomes the butterfly over and over and over. I think of families like that, and specifically our family, and how we're passing down this, creative spirit. Um, so they are in many of my sculptures even now, and I try to incorporate them somehow. Not every artwork has them, but this one in particular is called "Who Are You?" And so it's about the different, points of view. Everybody, sees you differently depending on what angle they're looking at you from. There's like the butterfly elements because we constantly are, living, dying, for example, at night when you go to sleep and you are reborn the next day, having integrated all of your experiences from yesterday, things like that. So yeah, thank you for asking. And I love how you installed it, Van. So it looks great.
Amazing. And I want to say that I connect with you so much. Those that are know, like Vanessa, it means butterfly. And if you see my art, it has a lot of butterfly, and I feel that I am a free spirit, just like a butterfly. So the butterfly has a big symbolism on me. So, I feel like when I create like the art and the woman in tech, it's like we're all connected. We can find that connection, and we have our different points of view and different stories to it. But I love it, creators, and thank you so much for sharing that and for being part, and for joining us today.
Absolutely lovely. I love it. I love it. If you guys want to be a part of the Women in Tech Museum, Vans has an amazing group, Discord server that you can join. I'm sure she'll post the link in the nest above for us. Get connected. There's lots of incredible humans just like Creatress in the Women in Tech Discord that you can collaborate with. You can get into the next museum showing. It's a really great way to connect, and I've said connect like 10 times, and get exposure and really learn about what this 3D world we're all living in is all about. I do want to toss the question, the same similar question to Blackstone. How did you get into building in VR, and what was that process like for you?
So I started just with like an interest in art in general. I was super into kind of all the mediums. I like to just make stuff, and I was really all over the place. But Chris, actually, who's next to me, you've met Chris before. His dad got the Vive Pro as soon as it released, and so I think that was like 2016. Something like
the
that.
Original Vive.
Yeah, OG Vive. Anyway, but I actually saw a game called Pavlov, and it was this really rudimentary shooting game. But very quickly, I understood like what it was to stand in a room and then suddenly be standing in a different room, and that kind of blew my mind for a lot of reasons. And I was aware of that as like a nerd, a tech nerd, even when I was younger, but I never experienced it. And then maybe 2 or 3 months later, Tilt Brush was released, and that was like the first VR art application. And I went super nuts with that, and I couldn't really afford my own setup. And so I was already doing like photography and film and stuff, so I did that for another like year or two until I could afford like a really strong computer and space and all of the indoor things, because I was a really big outdoor guy at that point in my life. But I just fell in love with it, and I made art in general. I started with like graffiti alphabets and stuff because I was super into graffiti growing up. That was like my first physical outlet outside of like a controlled environment. So I started there, and then I turned into surreal landscapes, and I started trying to make little forest paths and stuff. And then I thought, what if we added media and turned this into a gallery? And this was like, again, this is like a super long time ago. I have like videos on Tilt Brush when it was like just I couldn't export it. You couldn't see it. There was nobody else that could go, but I just saw the power of kind of letting somebody else step into your brain, and that pretty much sucked away all of my attention for like the rest of my life on. So now it's been like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, but went from everywhere from alphabet and typography and 3D art to architecture over the course of a few years. And now architecture is the main focus because it kind of keeps things afloat. But I also just love it. It's the same thing of like, you get to create a thought form and then let people interact with that and experience that in their own way. And if you can, I think that the really beautiful thing about art, at its really core sense, is you can get out of the way and let people have their own response. And VR, virtual reality, AR, but specifically just the ability to create a space for someone is like a super transcendental form of conversation. And so that's been like my wake up, fall asleep focus for years now. When it's all VR, it all starts by hand. So I guess that's the main thing I should have said from the beginning is, every single design you've ever seen me make all happens in Gravity Sketch first.
I think that's one of the most amazing things about the worlds that you've created that I have been immersed in, is that it's all by hand. I think that's a very, very unique, same thing with Creatress's pieces work. It's all by hand, and in a digital space, to have something 3D sculpted by hand just seems very like artisanal to me. I'm sorry, Meg, I didn't mean to step on your fingers. What's up?
All good. I got some follow-ups. As a lot of you know, I started my journey on Alt Space VR, and now I've got places in Spatial, Decentraland, technically Vatum. Um, and I'm really curious about VR chat. I heard you're kind of heading that way. I just kind of wondering, right? Like when I'd work with my alt space platform, I would measure all my art. I'd set everything up by hands as I'm waving my hands around right now. How do you feel right now about being a VR builder? Do you find more comfort in a VR chat, or do you just put your elements, design them and drop them in world and stuff like that? And maybe for people curious about moving to something like a VR chat, do you find any similarities between AltSpace VR? What could you show someone like me who's really looking for a new VR home?
I just want to clarify: is that a question to me, or is that to the group
Yeah,
in general? Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
would. And
Yeah. I started in VR chat. So the first place we could really put spaces in when we were new, and I say we because I always say Chris. Chris is always like next to me. He's in the room right now. So shout out Chris. But we started trying to port things into VR chat because that was the first place I could put tilt brush files. Is what I figured out. And then we started working into like accessing other assets and making larger scale environments and playing with light and like, you know, digging into all of the other ways to conversate. But I really look at 3D assets as their own thing, right? If you go to a shop and you buy something or you make something at home, you can bring it wherever you want. And digitally, it applies the same way, whether it's in your pocket, but also on the channels that you put it in. And so I don't overly romanticize any single platform because I use them for different purposes. I always talk about a thing I call fidelity layers. And it basically just means you're placing experiences where people are. And so you have to recognize what the limitations of the average user is going to be. And so for us, we're in spatial every single day. That's solely because I can be in a browser tab and be on every single day. And it can just be a background task. And so if someone walks in, they can see what I'm doing, I can talk to them. And so that's what I use that for, right? That's my everybody space. That means, you know, my grandma can show up on her MacBook or her old laptop. You know, my brother can use his cell phone. My mom can see it and just kind of look at it, right? And I can show that to anybody, anywhere, at any time. And so it kind of becomes my pocket universe. So even if I'm talking to somebody or a friend who actually wants to know, I can just pull out my phone or my tablet and be like, look at it, and they can screw around with it. When you go to a channel like VR chat, you're pushing the fidelity layer a little bit deeper and you're expecting people to have gaming computers or more. And so that's when you realize what you've really done is you've cut out like 85% of the population that's actually going to be able to see your stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that because you don't need 1 million people to sustain yourself. But you have to realize like the limitations of the average person who's not going to know how to be there. Now, if you expect users to know how to use VR chat or Neos or other platforms that are kind of for advanced users, what you do is you keep parallel realities, right? So I don't really lean into one or the other. I use them for different purposes. I have a spatial room, but then I have the one-to-one copy in VR chat where I can walk around in PC VR and my water reflects better, and I have volumetric fog, and I have different sound effects, and I have 20 different types of real-time light. And there's a lot less in my way of doing what I want. And so what happens is you just use both of those together and you have your everybody location, and your advanced users can go to that higher fidelity if they want to. And then you're not making it about being kind of like an advocate or a, I don't know, like an advertiser almost for either. And your assets aren't locked into either, because once you start becoming kind of consistent with your output or just your file formatting, because you move around a lot, you start realizing it doesn't matter where you are, you can usually create a level of detail for something that will fit the platform. So as long as you can think about things from their base level and you can kind of just figure out what can go where and what can't and why it shouldn't, then you're not trying to overpromise in one platform when you could totally deliver in another, and you could just offer both on the same plate.
Man,
So now you guys, oh, sorry, I just wanted to tell everybody. So now everybody knows where I get all my information from. Block is my metaverse guru. And if you want to be as awesome as me, no, you guys got to follow Blockstone. Go ahead, Nick.
You know, you brought up a few really great points, especially from those who might not have spent a lot of time on these different metaverse platforms. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I use spatial as my welcome to the metaverse. Let's just meet up real quick. Let's have a chat. Let's watch a show. Let me show you what this is all about. Easy, easy, easy to get in. You don't need a profile, web, mobile, or VR. The VR experience is not what some of these other things are. But then we move to VR chat, and I have a ton of questions. First and foremost, I'm a Mac user, right? So when it comes to PC VR, is there a workaround for people like us on the Mac side of things? Like this, and then do you design your worlds for PC VR versus VR? And for those of you who might not have ever heard the term PC VR, that's when you actually attach your headset to the gaming rig, right? So you can maximize all those triangles and really take the most advantage of what's being offered right now. But just to run that back, do you also build your spaces for the general VR user? And then C, I'd love to jump to one or so of Blockstone spaces, maybe not in VR chat today, but maybe in spatial.
Yeah, I think we should. So Block, if you want to let me know which space you want us to show, but I want to, before we go anywhere, I want to hang out and wait a little bit longer and ask Creatress and Block a couple more questions, if that's cool. Meg, do you want to ask Creatress the next question?
I think you should jump in because I've gone sideways, darling. And shout out to our friend Big Nil. Nothing like catching a Datorian
Woo-hoo.
family in the afternoon. Smiles all around.
Oh, I love Big Nil. Big Nil is about to mint, if he hasn't minted already, his one of one. I cannot wait to meet Baby Nil. Creatress, this is a really great question. I'm so excited to ask it. Your work, your sculptures, your art, your artistic eye is so incredible. And you've told us a little bit about, what inspires you, but did you maybe want to dive deeper into your creative process, or, maybe something that you'd like to share with us about it?
Yeah, thank you. Let's see, the creative process. Well, I think it depends on whether I'm creating at home or in person. So I think the performance one is a bit more exciting. So I'll share about that. Usually, what I'm trying to do during my performances, for anyone who's been there, you probably already know this, but if you haven't, um, what I'm trying to do is really tap into that subtle energy that everybody is like constantly, consistently emanating, right? So we have our hearts, our like electromagnetic, um, organs. They're putting out this pulse. Oh Jesus, someone's mowing their lawn next to me. So sorry. So okay. So we're all emanating this electromagnetic field, right? And it does actually affect other people. So if you ever walked into a room and someone's really mad, sometimes you can feel it. It even starts to affect you, right? Or sad, or on the other side, really excited and happy. So it's something that I constantly think about. And, I know specifically when I'm mad, I emanate like terrible energy. So I don't hang out with anyone. Um, but I think, when I'm performing, I'm going into the room and I'm taking on everyone's subtle energy and I'm trying to interpret it as quickly as I can without really thinking too much into colors, um, shapes, repeating patterns, things like that. And I think the fastest and most efficient way that I have found, because I've tried live painting as well, with, canvas and paint, it's just not fast enough. With VR and in Gravity Sketch specifically, I love that you can change tools like within seconds and you can be creating whatever it is that, you want to. So yeah, that's kind of the process. There's also music involved. I usually have a specific amount of time on stage. So I create a custom playlist every time, specifically to that time. And so there's, on the music side, I try to bring in, music that really gets me going. Just like music with energy, whether that's sometimes like a slow song, I think can still have a lot of energy and inspire you. So it's kind of ranges. Starts slow, goes up, finishes off on a high note. And I really like to get people involved. I try to get them to dance. They don't always do it. But I do try to get the audience involved. And with AR, or mixed reality, I should say, MR, you're able to actually switch off like the studio view and actually see what your surroundings look like, and so then people can see themselves in the on screen, because I can see them when I turn off the pass-through. So it's slowly evolving every time I do it, and I think with more tools and more different settings that we're able to tweak, it's going to continue to evolve.
I'll go for it,
We're
mate.
doing great today. See, we're overexcited. It's always
I
you, girl.
know. I
Just
wanted
the
to
way
tell
it
a silly
goes.
story. So I'm the noobiest of noobs when it comes to creating in Gravity Sketch, and I sustained a physical injury. And I think it has stalled my exploration. I was so excited, and I was making big sweeping motions, and I don't have a giant like room to be doing this in, and I sustained a fan injury to my finger. You guys, trying to stuck my finger in the fan when I was trying to make art, and I haven't done it since. So be very careful. There are physical like ramifications to not being aware of your surroundings, guys. So
That was
just
a
a little.
$1 million video. I wish I saw it.
I have sustained multiple injuries playing VR. Generally speaking, it happens when I play table tennis. I have definitely face first it into the couch more than once. Real talk. Just a quick shout out, LM Designs. You are looking shiny and fly. I want a quick heads up from one of our favorite leaders in VRM and AR tech. She is pushing the boundaries of what's possible and is a resident in the I'm blanking right now.
Women in Tech Museum,
In
literally one of
LM
the most incredible humans.
girl, GM to one of my faves.
Definitely. I want to say hi to CJ Tracks. So nice to see you.
Beautiful souls.
LMLM, what are you up to today?
Just definitely over here on Spoon, and I am definitely having this Metaverse Monday, episode 66, by you, beautiful, beautiful soul. Hi, CC, Make, and Prism over here. So I'm live streaming, letting people know about the Metaverse through you all letting people know about the Metaverse. And I'm definitely loving all that y'all are talking about, all the VR, everything that is being created, because I definitely have been going back and revisiting old NFTs that I have created and seeing how I can bring them into the new forms and fashions that I like to do. So I've been doing a lot on the filter side of things. Definitely brought MIDI punks all over the place. Like, y'all went crazy for the MIDI punk filter. I appreciate y'all over on IG. I love y'all. So definitely doing that a lot, using my assets. Like Black News was saying, it's the interoperability starts with us. So it's not what platform I'm on, it's what I'm creating and how many platforms I'm going to be putting it on. So right now I'm revamping a lot of different things that I was doing in over the reality, definitely tuning and tapping into my AR things and revamping them, created a new metaverse, a meditation temple throat chakra inside of Over the Reality as of this weekend, and definitely needing to shoot some videos of it, release it out there so y'all can see more of it. But loving the fact that, yes, I am bringing stuff that I've created so long in Sketch Muse, my Masco mates, everywhere. And so now I'm able to bring what I was drawing while I was dancing around my living room and channeling those energies, drinking my moon water and letting it beam in that way. And now everyone else can experience it. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm loving it. Y'all are shining bright and, you know, inspiring me to do the same.
And LM, you've got the jam coming this Thursday. If you have a reminder, please pin it to the top, because the jam is the spot to like re-up on energy.
Yes, I definitely will. I love you so much. Thank you for always reminding me.
Of course. Go for it,
Real
Mike.
quick, see, I would love to give little brother bio Vita TV, who is our streaming partner right now, and why we are on Kick and YouTube and Twitch, and we are finding ways to connect with people, all because of little brother Bio Meta and Vita TV. Bio, can you give us some words? Where we at now and what's going on, Playboy?
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to those around the world that are tuned in with us. Chris Gonzalez is my name, Biometa in the Metaverse, the face of Vita TV. We are streaming currently, my big brother, across 9 different Metaverses locations right now as we speak. Over 50 different social media accounts, Web2 platforms, and 3 different IRL store venues in Times Square, New York, that are hosting our M3U8 links on their storefront monitors. So check it out, guys. We're going worldwide digitally, right? So check it out. Metaverse Mondays, episode 66 is where we're at today. And if you have any questions or streaming broadcasting needs, slide in my DMs. I'm here for you guys. Blessings to all of you guys. Hi, CC and Make a NFT. Love you also, Creatress, and a big, famous friend of ours here. What's going on, Vans? Guys, if you have any questions, don't forget, slide in my DMs. Love you guys.
And with
Thank
that,
you
I
so
also,
much, Bio.
we're doing it all day, girl. It's me and you. I'm so sorry, see, but I think it's also appropriate to wish one existence a belated and happy birthday, one of our favorite people in any metaverse. If you don't have one of his wearables, you have not been welcomed to DCL properly. So huge shout out to you, one existence, and also somebody I met from my side of the mountains, Denver Donkey. He has super great AR stuff. He's always making stuff. Denver Donkey, if y'all don't know, now you know. Big shout, family. But see, I think it's about that time we check out Blockstone. I'm ready to see what happens when you build in VR.
Oh, okay, Block. Could you drop a link in World and then I can post it above?
Yeah, what do we want to do? Do you want to do like our studio space? Do you want to do like our nature spot we just made?
I want nature always.
All right, I got you. One sec.
Drop the link. I'll post it above. And ooh, mute yourself because I don't like hearing myself.
Sorry.
Okay, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to pass this question to Creatress, and then Block, I want you to answer it after we're in your space. But Creatress, you are so like, you're everywhere. I see you in Decentraland, I see you in Spatial, I see you in IRL events. And so if you could share with us maybe a little advice to artists or creators looking to transition maybe from traditional art, digital art, into creating like art in the virtual realm for the virtual realm. Do you have anything that you would have said to maybe baby Creatress when she was just getting started?
Oh, that's funny. I would say document your process, all of it, every session, which is something I definitely didn't do, but and invest in like maybe a photographer or a videographer as early as you can. Let's see, just look for opportunities where you can actually, if performance is something that you want to do, like try it multiple times, because there are tech things that you have to contend with. There's always the stage nerves that you have to just like learn to be okay with, right? So yeah, I would say practice as much as you can, and as you're doing that, document and share. because I feel like this is such a new thing that even if people see your performance, even if people see your videos, it's going to take them a few times to actually understand what it is that's going on, because it's not something that has been really seen. So the more that we document, the more that we put out there, the process photos and videos, and explain to people what's going on, I think the more likely we are to have more people excited about it. And like try VR and then be into it. And yeah, and I also, I mean, I have to say, like, just go into it knowing that, like, it's not an easy thing to find necessarily. Jobs or gigs or like opportunities that pay you to do this. Again, going back to this is so new. So yeah, just like form friendships, know what's going on, and it's okay to do things for free sometimes, but there has to be a limit. Otherwise, entertainers, and I'm sure DJs know this as well, like, we need to maintain some kind of pay, standards. So I know that's a lot of different tips, but yeah, I've got a lot of things that I've learned throughout the process.
One quick question for you, creators. Have you ventured into VR chat? It's funny because a lot of people in Web3, and I'm sure a lot of people here, always associate NFTs, blockchain technology with the metaverse. I think the metaverse people here kind of think the other way, like it can be a part, depending if you come from Decentraland, Sandbox, etc. But VR chat, the last I heard, and somebody in Blockstone, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, I think they have an average of 75,000 daily users. Is that correct?
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't looked in years, to be honest.
Okay, so creators, have you used VR chat? I am so excited to venture into VR chat. I feel like, my one barrier, and again, I touched on it earlier, is a lot of people build in VR chat, especially the pro users, with PC VR in mind. Do you, Blockstone, generally do something that would be for both a PC VR?
Yeah. No, I would look at it both ways. So you have to look at how hardware is advancing. I think the delineation is kind of going to just merge. It's not going to really matter. Right now, with the Quest 2, Quest 1 even, and I don't have a Quest headset, but a lot of headsets, I have a Pico 4 right now, but a lot of those you can plug in directly to your computer. But what's happening is we have higher bandwidth now, and we have better Wi-Fi routers now. So we have like 5G routers in our houses and stuff, and that can give you a really crisp, still super premium experience, completely wireless, even if you have an older headset. So what's happened is, if you're not happy with fidelity and you want to go with the flashiest thing, you can buy anything that's coming out right now or tomorrow or next month or whatever. But the reality is, even if you had, $350 for Quest 2, that should be able to connect through an app called Virtual Desktop to your PC. And I think this should work for Mac users as well. And then your computer will read that headset as just a PC VR headset. So that's where I say the merge, the kind of conversation is more preference. And realistically, if you have a strong internet connection at home, you just don't need that wired connection anymore. And so you can make your spaces for mobile VR is how I would specify, for mobile VR, where everything is being loaded on the headset, and anything in spatial pretty much can be ran on mobile VR. So that's where we put it. But if you want to do higher fidelity, quote unquote, PC VR, or I would just say like a gaming PC, that's where you have the option for wireless or wired. But it just doesn't matter. Like a short answer, it just doesn't really matter anymore. You've got the option for both.
So just to follow up on that, that means if somebody built exclusively for PC VR, say a nightclub, I think Josh and Cece visited one in VR chat recently. I was under the impression I could only go in that if I then had PC VR, and I don't believe you can use that yet for Macs. As far as I know,
I could be wrong. I'm on Windows, but if you have an app on Steam called Virtual Desktop, and I don't know if it's on the Quest headset. I know it works for Pico's like marketplace. I know it already is built into the headsets there. but there's a thing called virtual desktop streamer, and that's what connects your headset as a PC VR headset. So if you connect your headset that way to your computer, VR chat should actually read your headset as a PC VR option, and then you should be able to go in. And we can test it if you wanted to screw around one of these days. We can figure it out.
Absolutely. And guys, we have now entered Blockstone's an absolutely incredible space. If you can jump on stream, if you ain't going to join us, we have about 10 or so of our favorite people running around in the metaverse right now. But this space, man, can you talk a little about this? This is off the bangers.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. Thanks for coming through, man. This started as a game space called Gridshot Pro, and so that's the original design. But I always wanted it to be a library kind of quiet room space. I just knew that at the time of release, when we were making the bones for the design, we just knew that kind of hitting that niche area made more sense first, and it did. So we focused on that for a second. But this is basically a variation of that. And so this one is what we wanted it to be. And it's like this kind of natural sound space. So throughout the location, if you go to different areas like the bottom of the sphere or across the hall, there are different sounds throughout. So there's like a rainforest sound down below where there's rain and stuff happening. And over here, you've got the birds in the meadow. But if you go back, there's like a fireplace in a spot like that where my partner Chloe, she actually recorded a forest fire while that was going on. So it's like I hate to like just give everything to you on the spot, but I'm super proud of her on it because it's a really incredible thing she did, really. But it looks like this really cozy spot, and it is very cozy to sit there like a literal fireside. But there's that whole conversation between kind of nature and technology, and so I thought this space could be a relaxing location and somewhere that kind of at a neurobiological level makes you feel better, but at the same time it can have the conversation of bridging the gap between natural and organic elements and influences in virtual spaces, and that you can blend those aesthetics and you can blend those realities in a way that does both of them justice and maybe even can provide more awareness to the other. And I mean that specifically from virtual to natural, because like if you knew me 12 years ago, I was a photographer and I did outdoor recreation full time. So I lived outside, like I lived in the rainforest. I've been up and down the coast. I've been with so many different types of people. And so that still is my heart. Like I live in Bellingham, Washington. So we're like out in the woods. So we can go record a lot of these sounds, and we can go like if there's an old waterfall people have seen at my spots, and that's a literal waterfall like in our backyard basically. And so it's like that power of being able to very gently nudge someone into that headspace without a huge abundance of advertising or sounds or like really abrasive distractions, I thought was really powerful. And what was really cool was the way we tested this at my house was I just put it on my big screen at home and I just turned my stereo up and my dog just passed the fuck out for like 3 days. And it was like the most confirming experience for me that even at my home level with my animals, the space can kind of provide that. Yeah, I just think it's a really huge conversational thing. I think we'll do a lot more of it in different ways and kind of connect it to more specific environment types and things. But this just was a really cool way to create like a multi-dimensional home base that put all of those conversational aspects forward without forcing it. And if you want to return back and just hang out there as a screensaver, you can, or do work, or leave it on at night just to sleep. Awesome. And that's where I think, I would push on spatial that we need to have like a private instance option, but that's a whole other conversation, but we'll get there. And so I think this kind of niche between 24/7 radio stations and natural sound stations, I think there's a huge opportunity to help a lot of people feel better.
And this was all made in VR, right? So was this built in a separate, you didn't build this on Spatial's SDK, right? Like the Unity Spatial.
So that's just like basically the SDK is like a container within Unity. So everything was designed in Gravity Sketch first. These and the earths and the birds, those are external assets that we just have access to, ferns and things like that. But the architectural design itself and the lights and everything else, that was all made in Gravity Sketch first, and then we port that into Unity, and that's where we texture and light and do all of the detailing to make it kind of become a bit more.
It's truly incredible. I mean, honestly, Bio, if you could go full screen on this location of Blockstones, just so the streamers out there could really appreciate how in depth this space is. Just wondering, what do you think the load is on this space? For those of you who haven't been to a party yet, say in Spatial, where about 50 people come in, do you think the instancing would happen earlier because of the load, or is this pretty low poly? I am blown away, my friend.
It's not low poly. I think it's like right around 1 point something, 1.2 mil. Like we push it. Okay, so in our creative studio, we say that stress testing is a love language. And so that just means that if you're updating all the time and your platform is what it says it's supposed to be, we're always trying to figure out how to break it so we know where not to go. But if we can find the fine-tuned balance of like how much you can do and get away with, that's usually where we rest. So the short answer is, with the way spatial works realistically, any given day, it could be a problem, and other days it might run super smoothly. But that's where, when you're thinking about event hosting and you're trying to schedule an event for a lot of people, you would kind of just refine how many assets you have in the space. Like here, I could totally remove, 5 rocks and 6 trees and, a few things that just don't need to be there. But that's where you kind of just have to deal with the context of the day. I don't know if that's a real answer or not.
No, but
if that got what you wanted.
I mean, I think that's a good also point to remind all of us who are out there. There are trials and tribulations with every single platform, any given day, updates, changes to one little piece that can throw us off, which is why we usually host events in multiple places at once, right? Find your place, find your people, and grow with who's there. Speaking of growing with who's there, one of my favorite DJs, I don't know if he's just sitting there hiding in the cut with his pink hair, but Meta DJ, great party again last Friday. The vibes have been so high for your weekly with Crypto Minotaur. Just want to say hello, my G.
Hello, hello. Yes, I was. My curls are getting a little out of control, both in the digital and physical realm, but we are embracing them, as it is very much becoming a part of my personality. Fun fact: I used to have really long curly hair most of my childhood, and then when I entered the corporate realm and a little bit of college, I was like, oh, I gotta have to be like, a conformed corporate individual with clean hair. But man, it has been so fun to share that. And have curls. So good call out. Loving the pink vibes. Friday was a vibe, I got to say. These past couple of weeks, we've really been gaining some momentum with our event. I'll keep it real quick because I want to respect what you guys have going here. But I just got to say, I had a vision when I set and prepared that event. We started right around New Year's of this year. And we said, hey, we're going to do a weekly event. It was Minotaur and I, Meta Luke, a few others. And I chose 10 p.m. on a Friday night because I was like, I want to turn into, one of the like go-to stops in the metaverse for like a Friday night rave. And now I really feel like that vision's becoming a reality over the past couple weeks. So shout out to everyone who's attended. If you haven't, every Friday, we'll see you there. Great vibes, loving the discussion. Shout out to Bio with Vita TV. He is a broadcast partner for our parties as well. And I'm happy to be here.
Aw, thank you so much, Meta DJ. I know I try to make it on Fridays, but by Friday at that time, I'm a hot mess express. So if I make it, it's like a miracle. And it is so much fun being in a disco ball with everybody. So I do love it. I want to toss the mic back over to Creatress. I wanted to know, are there any exciting projects or things that you're working on that we maybe need to keep an eye out for? Because I know that this world moves so fast. So if there's anything, let us know. We want to hear it.
Oh yeah. Thank you. By the way, I have to say, the world block, your world is freaking awesome. I fell all the way down and I just had to exit so I can come back up. They need to make a little button for getting back to the beginning. But It's super cool.
I'm glad you like it. Were you on mobile?
No.
Oh, there's zero gravity, so if you just keep jumping, you'll just start floating up into the sky.
Okay. But yeah, no, in terms of projects I'm working on, I am going to be, it's not a project, but it's a performance, so you guys can keep an eye out for. I'll be performing for the Meta Truckers season 3 again in Decentraland. So you can check out a mixed reality performance there. I don't have the date yet, but just keep an eye on my tweets. The other thing is I am currently looking for sponsorships to do an in-person performance during Miami Basel Week. So those are kind of the two things that I've got planned right now. In terms of other projects, there's other things going on pretty much always. But I do also host Twitter Spaces. So if you guys, like listening in, keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thanks for asking, Heisey. I think that's about it.
Nice. Awesome. Question to the audience. Have you guys tried creating art in VR? If you have, share it below or request up. Let us know how it went. As you know, I sustained an injury, so there is no shame. And yeah, does anybody have questions for Block or Creatress? Because we've got like a couple more that we could ask, or I could hand the mic over to our amazing audience. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to request up. We have their attention for just a few more moments before we have to release them out into the wild so they can continue to create and be amazing, so we can talk about it. But if not, I'm happy to do a safety round and wind this party down.
Ooh, I actually wanted to mention something on the getting hurt in VR. Hey, CC, because I've also
go for it.
Yeah, getting hurt in VR is a real thing. You definitely make sure you have plenty of room. During one of my performances, actually, I stepped off the stage. And shout out to my friends who are here. My friend Valerie was there, and she's here in the audience. She was there. She was actually live streaming the performance. This was in New York, Margaritaville, rooftop pool area. And thankfully, the stage was only about a foot off the ground. It was like a nice platform. And thankfully, I was, able to just kind of play it off and stepped back onto the stage and everything was fine. But yeah, it's definitely, you can get a little excited. Like you can get really into it and start making big strides and big moves. And that's sometimes when things happen. So just, move with some caution is all I'll say. But we've all been there. I think.
It actually makes my heart feel a little bit better knowing that I'm not alone. Thank you for sharing. You're incredible, and I'm so honored that you're here today to chat with us and share your story. Block, anything you got going on? I know you have tons going on, but and you tell me almost everything, but I don't know what I can and can't say. So tell us what you've got going on in the future, and yeah, we'll do a safety round after.
Not a lot. I mean, we're doing a lot of documentation right now. If you've watched us for the last year or two, we've been building like mad. Like we have built a lot of really large scale spaces and kind of built an infrastructure to host a lot of events and host a lot of people. And so that's kind of where we're at now. I love my art and I would love to just sing about my stuff all day long. But I think the real beauty of these spaces is being able to bring other people in. So that's also where Creatress, I love your art, and I'm so glad we're like in the same spot to talk because I've totally seen your stuff before, and so it's super cool. And if you ever want to host anything in any of these spots, we'll just figure it out for you like ASAP. So just an invite there.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're just making videos, and we're doing for the rest of the year right now. Chris and I are playing What If. We're playing our favorite game where we kind of just wake up and we've got our main tasks and our priorities or our kind of monetary asks done, but we're just making documentation on anything that we think is interesting or could be useful to further our spaces and other people's spaces. And in a book. I just finished a book. I have to kind of rewrite my introduction, but I'm trying to figure out how to publish that now. So that's a question mark, but the thing is actually done. So that's probably the hugest thing for the rest of the year, will be figuring out how to actually get that out the door correctly. But I want
Nice.
to, if we have time though, I want to push back to Creatress though, because I really do love what you've been doing. And if we have time for questions, and people haven't raised their hands, what has been kind of your personal key to success? Like, right, there's so many opportunities that you land in that you've earned and you've worked for, but I mean, like, you get to these spots, right, and it's like everyone has these moments, especially as artists, right, where we're like, how the hell did we get to this point? For you doing live events and for kind of being in the area that you're in, what were the kind of conversations, and what do you think has been your kind of key to success to building your personal brand and getting to where you are now?
Oh, well, thank you, Blockstone. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a mix of things for sure, but it definitely helped, you know, just having friends all over that were involved somehow in events. So if you know people who are, you know, constantly producing events, or somehow, or like work at companies that produce events, anything like that, like, I think one of the things that I did early on was let everybody know that I was available to perform, like just putting yourself on, just on their radar, and saying, hey, this is something I really want to do. If you guys ever host an event, please keep me in mind. Like that, it's really just that simple, to be honest. And then being consistent with sharing, you know, recaps, videos, or you know, photos from performances and things like that. Just like being consistent, really, and reminding people, like, hey, this is what I do. This is what I love to do. This is what I want to do. I think just putting it out there that you are available and that you're open and that you want to do things. Eventually the right people will hear it. And of course, I have to say, like, I started out, I was not expecting anyone to pay me to do it, because it was like the first time that I'd ever done it, you know? There was no proof of concept. So I think being willing to invest in yourself, and, you know, because it's not cheap to fly to all these places, and, you know, all the costs that come into it, when you have to go somewhere and perform live. So just be ready to invest in yourself. Be ready to put yourself out there constantly, and then also just know when is the time when you can no longer, you know, offer these things for free, because there will come a time when you have enough experience and what you have is valuable. So those two things, I think, are really key, because, you know, I could have done 30 more performances if I had just kept doing them for free for everyone. And I don't think that really benefits me or the whole artist community, because as it is, performers are severely underpaid throughout, like, all entertainment spheres, especially art. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Thanks, Blockstone.
Vans, go for it.
Man, see, you and me today are just on. Timing is forever. Vance, what you got for us, girl?
So I just would like to say that I have to basically switch to listener. I have to put my little ones to their nap, but I am listening, and so I just wanted to say again, thank you, High CC, Meg, Prism, Creators, Blockstone, for joining us today. I would like, before I I'm gonna be here as a co-host, but go as listener. Leave with a question for the audience, and also a reminder: we have a new takeover at the Mormon and Tech Museum. It's the month of October, so please visit. We have Secret Project as featured artists. We have creators there, and we'll have a party at the end of the month. Not only that, we have an open call for all. So yes, it's your opportunity. So open call for all. If you want to be part of a Halloween party, please feel free to DM me your art, or there's like a tweet around there, so you can be part of it. And yeah, so before I go, I wanted to ask, what kind of VR art experience would you like to create if you had all the necessary tools and resources created? Because, if you had all the tools, like, what would you do?
Oh, I think that's what a lovely idea. I think I would like to do some kind of like, if you guys have heard of Teotihuacan, it's like the biggest pyramid complex and like city in Mexico, and so I think it'd be nice to do something inspired by it in VR. Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to do.
I smell a collaboration between
Sound fun.
Propagation
I hope
House and
one day we can all
Creatrix.
collaborate and then make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vans, for joining us to ad hoc co-host.
But
I
again,
hope
everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, hi, Cece, Meg. Thank you for being amazing. The floor is all yours. Let's keep it rocking.
mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello.
Yes.
Oh, there I am. Okay, cool. I was I think I might have rugged out there for a hot second. But thank you so much, fans, for joining us, ad hoc co-hosting. I'm hoping Prism can hop up, but he might have some stuff happening today. I'm not sure what's going on. Bio, what's up?
Just want to give a warm welcoming again to those that tuned in on the stream, for those in Decentraland, Voxel boards, Hyperfi, I mean, you name it. We had so many people watching our live streams across all these different metaverse locations. I did drop each of the profile Twitter accounts for each of the individuals and also the spatial spaces, the links that take you to these places that we visit today, all on stream across every platform you can think of. This way you guys can have future interactions and possibly even have some future visitors. With that being said, I will also broadcast and post the replay of this entire stream right after this space closes, just 30 minutes after. And also, if you want to catch into any more events, feel free to always come by the Bit Cinema. We are going to put up a Vita TV on-demand service that you can go to the first floor. There will be a telephone booth that you can open up the link to catch all of Vita TV's broadcasts, including the Metaverse Monday episodes that we are now broadcasting. With that being said, shout out to Meta DJ, shout out to LMD, Creatrix, shout out to all of you guys, Make It NFT and High CC, the host with the most. Thank you for allowing Vita TV and myself as well to broadcast these events. Thank you guys. God bless you all.
I love it. Vita TV is like your metaverse cable box. So if anything is going to happen, it's going to happen on Vita TV. You can kick back, sit down, and watch what's happening. And then if you're really feeling it, you can jump in. So thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of the broadcast scheduling, I guess, your regularly scheduled show. As a side note, the season 1 of Metaverse Monday will be coming out in the new year. We've taken the best of the past year and a half, almost 2 years of these spaces, and we put them together in a little show for you that you can listen to on the road. So we're really excited to be launching that in the new year. So stay tuned for more with Metaverse Monday, you guys. I just want to say thank you to everybody for showing up today, spending time with us, being a part of the show. It's really, really important, I think, for our community to grow, to be able to, like Creatrix said, document everything because this is new. So here we are. This is what we're doing. Soon there will be historical documents about Metaverse Monday and what a terrible host High CC was. So we're so excited. I do want to do a safety round for everybody who is on stage. If there's something you forgot to say, something you want to say, something you want to tell us, please feel free. This is the time to do it. And we are going to start with Block. Safety round. Anything that you forgot to tell us?
I don't think so. Always just try stuff, right? That's what we're doing for the next 8 or 10 weeks or so, is just trying stuff. So I would just say to do the same, whatever that means to you, right? Don't be
Go
afraid.
do
Just
that.
try shit. Just try shit. Yes, yes. Love y'all. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Block. I'm going to FAFO with Block a little later. And if you don't know that, that is a term that is lovingly used in the CBD Discord, which is fuck around and find out. I'm going to be hopping into VR chat with the one and the only Chris and Block, and we're going to check it out, see what happens. LM, your safety round, my love, if you're still around. Ella might be doing some amazing butterfly flying. She tends to do that. She floats away. It's amazing. She comes back, she'll interrupt me. Bio, is there anything else you had? Are you good?
Thank you guys again, once again. Hi, CC, make an NFT. Let's hear those claps. Let's see those hearts. Let's see that love. Let's go.
Whoop, whoop. He's like the best hype man. Like when you're feeling like, I don't want to do this, you just talk to Bio and you're like, I can do this. Is it Prism? Is it the one, the only Prism? Oh my gosh. Priz, what are you up to? How was your day? Ooh, did we get a good report?
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, well, no, it's, yeah, so, yeah, just the day, just, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I hope I listened to parts in between all the little things I've been doing all afternoon. But yeah, like, I'm so excited. The MIDI Punks, just incredible showing at the CryptoPunks event that Beeple Studio hosted on Saturday. I mean, so it's kind of in real life event, but we had a couple of MIDI Punks actually go, and I just had a great report. I saw Vanessa's Paladin Punk up there too. So yeah, super excited to see that. I was like kind of in tears and like almost like it was like not real. I had to like check a few times. So yeah, so excited about that. And we're working on scouting a place for the MIDI Punks music video. We have we're going to do something very different. So you got to stay tuned, got to get on the Discord and find out what we're doing with that. It's going to be very, very different for the Touch Grass music video. So it's going to include grass. I think that's the main thing. So yeah, so you got to stay tuned for that. And good morning. Oh my gosh, that song is going to, I think I played it for my mother-in-law over the weekend. So that was entertaining to see her facial expressions when somebody's saying GM. But yeah, so yeah, all the fun stuff. And I hope you had a relaxing weekend. Thanks for coming out to Metaverse Monday. And I can't wait for what's coming next.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for hopping in. I hope it didn't cause too much stress. If you don't know, Prism is on so many projects and is just an amazing human being, best supporter, and an amazing co-host. So yeah, don't steal him from me. He is mine. Okay, I'm going to hop over to Meta DJ. What is going on in your world this week? Is there anything you forgot to tell us that we need to know?
Yeah, well, of course, you guys are all welcome to join us this Friday for a new event. Theme for this week to be revealed soon. Last week, we teleported into an alternate dimension in the 80s with some disco and 80s pop remix vibes. And the week before, we were casting spells with some euphoric trance. So stay tuned for this week. And I will formally announce here that I, as Creatress shared, I'm excited that I will be competing in Beat Trekkers 3. My teammate and I got second place this past event with Beat Trekkers 2, but now I'm riding it solo, and Meta DJ is looking to make it to the top. So stay tuned. Excited to see what you will be sharing, Creatress. It's an incredible event, so I'm excited to be invited back. So hopefully we see you Friday, and if not, guys, every day is an opportunity to build your vision. So keep at it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, the alpha drops. Beat Trekker 3 sounds like it's gonna be off the I'm gonna age myself, off the chain. I said off the chain. Old lady vibes. All right, let's do it. Give me your safety round, and then let's shut this bad boy down and give people, the rest of their day back to them.
All right. Well, just a quick check. If you haven't received my wearable created by the amazingly talented, lovely 17 for Decentraland, please send me your wallets, family. All of this crew is welcome to that free mint as we welcome you to Decentraland. I'll definitely be running around DCL this week. I plan to stop by every Friday night that Meta DJ throws his event. I definitely go check the vibes. Nothing more fun than my kids dancing to Meta DJ. That'll happen. I'm going to be on Tuesday night. I'm definitely going to check out Spotty Wi-Fi space with our man DJ Trax if he's still in the room. I can't thank you all enough for those of you who are old listeners, new listeners, willing to jump forward and try some new things. There's a lot on the table coming this way, and I can't wait to share it with you. See, after you close down, I'll send us out with some tunes for fam. And you're my meta bestie for Evs.
Aw, besties for life. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this 66th episode of Metaverse Monday. We hope you enjoyed our chat with Creatress and our special co-host, Vans, and we had Blackstone hop in. I love it. If you missed the show, don't worry, boo. We got you. The adventure has been streamed live to all of our socials thanks to the amazing Vita TV, your Metaverse cable box. I do want to say thank you to our partners, CJ Meta Events, guiding your virtual experiences. And I just want to say, if you would like to become a sponsor of Metaverse Monday, feel free to reach out to me, HiCC, or Make an NFT to discuss the cosmic opportunities. Take it away, Make.
All right, we're going to close this out with Hooked from Notion. Let's finish this Metaverse Mondays out together, family. It's been real, family. Till the next time, I'll see you in the Metaverse.